What's going on, everybody? It is Coach Greg Adams back in here with another YouTube live stream. Shout out to the Coach Gang.
And that's you.
For being in here, being involved, and being active on these YouTube channels. So anyway, man, check this out, man. What we doing is I switched over to StreamYard off of Stream Labs. And I want to do this main event topic, man. I want to get this topic done, and I'm going to clean up what's happening on the background here. We do have some live streams that didn't get all the way played through, and we had some disruptions. So I've switched. I switched up. I cleared out my modem. All right, restarted it, and so we should be cleared out there. Let me go ahead and private some of these other videos. I'm going to unlist it just in case some people want to hear it. All right, unlisted activity there. So if you do have the link to the previous live streams this morning, you can listen to them even with the disruption, but I'm going to go ahead and take them down from the page. But I did want to do this main event topic because it's an important topic. It's a provocative topic. And if we do have some problems on the back end, we know that it's not on my side. How many people we got here? Shout out to you guys, and we'll do the super chats as well. But I want to do this provocative ass commentary about why marriages will be increasingly for the affluent. Now, if you didn't hear the previous part of the show, one of the predictions that I've had in my book, De-Evolution, is that marriage will be for the elites, for the affluent. All right. A lot of them will continue to get married. All right. Rich people, wealthy people, upper middle class people will continue to marry, despite the fact that you have movements like Manosphere, MGTOW, Red Pill. You have men becoming aware of relationship issues. You see divorces amongst wealthy people and people who are not wealthy, and you see people getting destroyed. Typically, these are middle class people. Although we see these high divorce amounts, and yes, women's the number one way to get rich is through marriage, but those people typically can afford the divorce in a ways that we cannot. So when they divide up 13 billion or 13 million, they divide that up, they still can live. They're not homeless. Whereas you make $50, $60, $70,000, guess what? You're homeless. You're losing custody of your kids. You'll never see your kids again. Whereas people who are affluent, they could just start a new family and make more kids. Typically, if you're not affluent and or poor, you can't make any more kids. Child support is going to kill you and crush you. So this is why people are abstaining from marriages and relationships for that matter. And this is why it's going to change the dynamics of how we date. Despite the fact that people think that if we have a conversation and we can debate, we can get men and women on the same page. We can't. I don't think we can, because we're not understanding what's preventing us from having these stable relationships, or relationships like our grandparents had it. Some people can have it. Most people are not. In fact, the rising group of single males that are going to be single and childless is rising. More women are going to be more single and childless at age 30 than ever before in our history of the United States. And one of the reasons why is we're going to put this up here. I'm going to share this again, all right, on the screen for the people watching this the first time. We've already done this 3 times. But why marriage is increasingly for the affluent, and the economic contract of marriage has shifted. And now young people are looking for financial stability before the wedding. All right. And this is not a bad thing, but it's going to delay when people get married in a variety of ways, like the past marriages. If you ask some of your abuelas, your aunties, your mamas, they got married or had babies in their 20s, early 20s. Today, this demographic of young men and women are not having kids. Okay. We're seeing a lot of these younger women use their 20s to fuck around. And then they settle down, or they've had their fun, or they're looking for someone's financially stable instead of the jerks. that type of thing.
And that's you.
Now we also seen the rise of the acceptance of the realities of monetized dating, right? We see monetized dating being pushed out there. So a lot of women are saying, yes, I would rather do this than the date a broke guy. You also see more women earning more money, right? And they're like, if I make 100K, I want someone on my level. I don't necessarily want to support a guy. I don't want to be Bob the Builder. So this is going to really, really change how people date. Okay. It's going to change it. So this is where we're at. And this is why when I wrote the book, The Evolution, and I started talking about my content, I said, there's no way we're going to have stable relationships the way they were in the past. There's just no way. There's no way to facilitate it. There's no way to go about it, because today more women work than at any point of the history of our society. Women work. Not only do they work, they have goals and aspirations to be their breadwinner, or at least bring in a lot of money. Okay. In the 90s, a woman would want to link with a guy that had that potential, and then they would bring in their money supplementally, right? Even the 90s, before the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, women worked supplementally, right? Their income was supplemental. Their income wasn't designed to even be used as a primary source. If they were, they would be struggling. So today women are working and they're like, man, there might be a possibility that I can be CEO by 32. I can drive my own car. I can buy my own car. I can buy my own house. This is an independence has fractured the idea of the fantasy, the mythology of regular people getting married. They're just delaying it further and further. Now here's a reality. Now another reality. Most people that are young today think that by 32 or 35, they'll be stable. Nope. Okay. Who's young here? Who's now in your 20s, 22, 25, 27? A lot of young people think 35 is maturity, right? Oh, I'm going to be mature, stable. I'm going to buy a house. Well, the reality is when you get to 35, you realize you're still in a rat race. You still haven't stacked. You barely paid off your student loan debt. You still live with your parents. You got married. Like, you're not even close by 35. Okay. So most people aren't even close by 35. And so you think you're going to have all of these ducks in a row. Then you get to 32 and it's like, whoo, still not in position. Still not in position. So then they kick the can further down the road. I know a lot of, especially on the woman's side. The woman's side, you see this especially. All right. So they're sitting there like at 35 thinking, oh, we about to whoop ass. And it then takes them another 5, 7 years, maybe 10 years to even get over that hump. Now, what's happening now? You know, they're 40. The woman's 40. She's like, I want a guy. I want a relationship. I want to love. I want years to grow. So that's the reality of where they're going here with this article. And so we're going to review this and portions of this article and some videos to back up this proof and claim that the marriage is going to be more increasingly for the affluent. All right, this is something I've said. I predicted this. It's going to be for the elites. Now, for people that are red pill adjacent or manosphere adjacent, they see rich people get married and they're like, why would you get married? It's dumb. Well, in their world, marriage is a part of their world. They're not red pill, right? They might even know, man, this is a losing proposition, but their world still centers around marriage and family. So for the elites, you're merging families, you're merging legacies. So you can kind of pick and have arranged marriages. Don't date that person. Don't date that person. Don't date. So you can arrange who these people are with. So it's not built on mythology, romance, and fantasy. Okay. These people want to have kids. Having kids does further along the family's legacy, and merging families just furthers along the power of those families. So they're not going to live in a world where NBA, NFL players that are introduced to 50s millions of dollars and they're going to stay single. Okay. They're not going to do it. All right. I know you want them to do it and it would make sense for them to do it, but their world doesn't revolve around that. They're not red pill. Their world revolves around marriage and kids and family and showing this type of stable structure. When you're in executives, when you're in the C-suite, when you're in the industries where family is important to these industries and keeping you locked in, yes, all the red pill talking points, they're going to do it. They're not going to buck the system. They're not going to run in there with their $50 million and say, I'm red pill. All right. Not going to happen. they'll continue to marry and divorce and marry and divorce. And they'll continue to split up money and they'll continue to do this till the cows come home. They ain't never going to stop doing this. Okay. Because there's power behind it. There's merging. There's economic force behind this. And even if they have to part ways, split up $13 million and $15 billion, they'll continue to do it. Right. And they'll continue to push the idea that you need to settle down. You need to be married. You need to have a family. You know, these people have desks and they cannot wait to put up their 5x7 with the dog, the golden retriever, and the house in the background and the wife and the kids and the two kids, the wife and the two kids. And they're just smiling, sitting there. And then the kids are in their dress and their little vineyard vines and the husband sitting there in his polo shirt. And she's dressed. They can't wait to do that, bro. So that's always going to be there. Never going away. That's part of the system of that world. Whereas the middle class, the poor people, and everybody in between, they're going to buck that. They're going to have the debates. They're going to have these situations where the women are saying, I'd rather just not marry at all. I want to marry somebody on my level or not below. Right? You're going to have men that want to get married primarily, but the women aren't wanting to get married and have kids at that age. You're going to have the 80-20 rule. You're going to have women saying, I could do bad all by myself. You're going to have women that buy their own properties even before they even marry you, and they will convince you to do it that way. Well, you can move into my house and pay down my mortgage. Okay, you're going to have people that are middle class or below that will refuse to do prenups. I'm a middle class guy. I'm an electrician. I'm an engineer. I'm a doctor. Middle class guy. Why do I need a prenup? I'm a regular Joe. I work at the Circle K. Why do I need a prenup? Whereas a family that does have money or affluent or wealthy, they're going to do prenups and they're going to have everything I's dotted, T's crossed. They're going to have all the non-disclosures. They're going to have it all planned beforehand. Whereas the middle class is like, well, prenup discussion seems to bring on the idea that you're preparing for a divorce. So that's the normal mindset of this particular group of people. All right. So like I said, I'm going to talk about this. And then I'm going to show you next. This is what I was going to show you. I'm going to put this up. Share screen. An excerpt from the from the article. It says, overall marriage rates have declined much less for 22 to 45-year-olds with a bachelor's degree than they have for those with less than a college education between 2008 and 2023. And I'll read that again. The marriage rates have declined much less for 22 to 45-year-olds. That's pretty much the Gen Z and millennials. These are people with bachelor's degrees than they have for those that have less than a college education between the years of 2008 and 2023. That's the rise of the red pill. That's also the changing of the economy. That's after the housing collapse and into COVID. All right, less marriage between educated people. What do we also know about these bachelor's degree people, 22 to 45? We also know that this group of people have a hard time keeping employment. Right? They came out of there with their university with their degree, but they ain't out here hitting home runs. Millennials are getting better, but they had a struggle for the first 5 to 10 years after graduation. Some of these bachelor's degrees were a waste. And this is according to an analysis of census data by the Institute for Family Studies. It says the share of married adults in the top third of earners also fell slightly, while dropping much more from the bottom 2/3 of the income spectrum. So even the top third of earners still had a slight decline in the marital rate. Marriage has become a status symbol. This is according to Krista Payne. She's an assistant director for the National Center for Marriage and Family Research. People don't want to get married until they have an education, have their job that can support them, and they can afford a house. And they are also looking for a partner that ticks all of these boxes. Now, this is where the conversation, well, the average black man only makes $50K. These women just going to have to pick someone. No, they don't. All right. I've been saying no, they don't for a long time. They don't just have to pick someone. Well, they're going to be lonely. That's where we're at. All right. They'd rather pick nobody. They'd rather work all the way up until they're 40. Okay. They're like 30, 32. They still look young. They feel young. They somewhat look young. They're like, yeah, I can do this at 40. There's a guy out there that will marry me up, and maybe there isn't. But they'll just stay single. They'll just buy their own house or, be in their own debt. So the marriage rate is dropping. Particularly, it's still dropping between the ages of 22 and 45. What do I always say? I say, when we talk about dating and relationships, we're not really talking about older people. We're talking about the general age of 18 to 28. 18 to 28 certainly does not have their life together, and they're not thinking about marriage. Many of them are thinking about fucking around, partying, smoking, partying and bullshit, and then they'll get to the point where even they come out in a job marketplace that doesn't allow them to build that fast. They're not looking for a guy to struggle with. The women aren't, neither are the men. You guys don't even want to pay for dates. So it is not, and I hope Matt Walsh offers Tatum and these brothers, I hope you guys have a rebuttal for this, because I predicted this. Okay. CGA told you we ain't coming back. Larry Bird is not walking through that door.
Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans. Kevin McHale's not walking through that door, and Robert Parrish is not walking through that door. And if you expect them to walk through the door, they're going to be gray and old.
The good old days where your grandma stayed when the husband, your grandpa, pawpaw cheated and was a Rolling Stone. The good old days where your grandma, had a baby by the milkman when your pawpaw was out to war. Those days are gone. We're closer to 2050 than we are 1950. All right. We're closer to 2050 than we are 1950. It's gone. It's gone. The idea that a woman would just be waiting to find a husband, as Kevin Samuels and myself would call it, and I have proof, the MRS degree. He didn't originate that point. I had that point out here for a long time. All right, right there. You see it right there. MRS degree. This was me in 2018 and 2019 with this particular rundown right here. Okay. So the MRS degree. Okay. So right there. The days where women would get an MRS degree are gone. The days where women would meet their husband at the workplace, gone. It's gone. It's not there anymore. Women don't meet their husbands at the workplace. They meet their work husband at the workplace. They meet their fuck buddy at the workplace. They get a sexual harassment at the workplace. But gone are the days where a woman could say, I'm going to get into this career and meet my husband and marry him. That was common from women who work supplemental jobs. A supplemental job, teacher. That's a supplemental income job. Today, that's a full-time job. I don't think it's a full-time job. I think it's a part-time job. All right, but now people have made teacher a full-time job. Nurse is somewhat a part-time job. Okay, although they can work overtime and make it full-time, but technically they work 36 hours without overtime. They call it 312s. Now, that's a hard 3 days, but you got 4 days off typically in the nursing profession. Typically in the nursery. I have to say this for the people. Not me. I work 5. Okay, shut the fuck up. Typically, they work 312s. That's a supplemental job. It's barely part-time. I mean, it's barely full-time. Okay, then they have 4 days off in which they have to work overtime or another job or fill in and so forth and so on. You see that? So jobs that women hold typically were supplemental, and now they're full-time jobs, and they now are trying to find ways to support themselves through these supplemental jobs by making them full-time. Typically, a teacher would marry another teacher, and they would combine the income. Today, female teachers don't want to necessarily marry another male teacher because that guy is considered low on the totem pole economically. It happens. It doesn't happen as much as it used to. Okay. It happens. It just doesn't happen as much. Women then go, if I'm a teacher, I need a doctor. All right. If I'm a teacher, I need a lawyer. Right? If I'm a teacher, I need a hustler. If I'm a teacher, I'm going to do OnlyFans. If I'm a teacher, I'm going to be on TikTok being the teacher babe. This is typical mindset. Now, that mindset has shifted. So we want that to come back, but it's just not going to come back. I'm sorry. I predict it's not coming back. All right. It's not coming back. You're not going to see that as the norm. You're not going to see that as the norm. You got teachers fucking their students and they're 13, 12, 15, and 9, 16. You hear that more than you hear teachers marrying, right? Now, you also have married people who are quiet. They just don't typically have anything to talk about because they're married and bored, okay? So they're married and bored. Now, let's give you some more, even more insight on this one. Okay. Here we go right here. Let's pull this up. Let me take this down. I'm using a different stream platform, so it does take me a little bit more time. And now we got this information right here. Let's see if I'm showing it on screen. Americans aged 22 to 45 are seeking financial stability before marrying, shifting from marriage as a starting point to an achievement after career and wealth building. It says this change delays marriage. This is common sense for us that have been following this. This change delays marriages, increases selectivity, and lowers the overall marriage rate. Now, if you've been in this space, this is not a shock. The normies are barely just catching up to us. Right? The normies are catching up. Now, for people who this is enlightening information, God bless you. But guys, I wrote a book on this, that this is kind of where the only way we can go. You're only got left a majority of women that are going to say, I'm going to focus on my career. Like, that's been a talking point.
So I could focus on my career.
I'm going to get my life together. I'm going to be CEO. I'm going to get my money up. I'm going to pay off my debt. I'm going to buy a house and the car I want. And I'm going to get the dog that I want. And then I'll find the old missing link, which is the missing link is you. Okay.
And that's you.
And we call that the silhouette husband. All right. The silhouette husband. You're just a silhouette. You're just a person that fills in their life plan. All right, and then I'll eventually get married down the line, and it'll be this goofball ass nigga.
And that's you.
Silhouette marriage. All right, you're seeing more women plan for that. You don't see more men plan for that. Either men are going to stay single or they're looking to get married and have kids. they're like, I want to get married and have kids, and I want my wife. I want them to be a stay-at-home wife. And you're like, how much do you make? And he's like, I make 56 grand a year. You ain't going to make it. As a normal average guy, that guy is not getting married at all. You got a slim chance. You better live in Tupelo or Midland, Texas. But you ain't getting married. Fuck that. Not as a norm. So what happens? It increases selectivity. What happens? You're hearing more and more women adopt the idea that they can select guys that they want. I'm going to cut these guys right off at this level, whatever that level is, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100K, 120. Okay. It delays marriages, increases selectivity on the woman's side. All right. I'm going to get married at 32 and he's going to be 6'4" with the blue eyes and the finance and the Wall Street and the 6'5" and the blue eyes. Okay. We've been hearing that for years. Now they're finally catching up to it. They're finally catching up to the reality going, oh, shit. And it says also it lowers the overall marital rate. So marriage is going to go lower. Less people are going to get married. And it says right here, it says the marital rate, that is the rate of new marriages to the overall population, has been on a long downward trajectory. No shit. Haven't people been warning that? It says between 2008 and 2023, the first marriage rate amongst 22 to 45-year-old declined 9%. And this is doing an analysis from Bowling Green University's Center of Marriage and Family Research, which I know they watch me somewhere. And it says 59% of Americans 37-year-old with parents in their top income were married as of 2019. 59% of Americans right there with their parents in the top income bracket were married. Okay, so that would be what we would call the elite or the affluent. But what was the rate for people below that? It says the share of married adults in the top third of earners also fell, while dropping more than for the bottom 2/3 of the spectrum. All right. So the bottom 2/3, that's the middle class and below, it has dropped way more, but it's still dropped for the top third of income earners. Okay. So another reality check right there. And something that I said, I was like, dude, marriage is going to be for the elites. I keep saying this. We also have this one that I want to share, and then some videos to back this up as to the mindsets for affecting this. It says only rich people are getting married. This was from 6 months ago. New research suggests a marriage gap as the marriage gap widens. Only rich people are getting married. This is the article from it, and this is from England's BBC. Pause. Only rich people are getting married. Rich people are getting married at a higher rate than those with lower incomes as the marriage gap between the rich and the poor hit a record 51%. Okay, let's see here. All right.
Only rich people are getting married, new research suggests, as marriage gap widens LBC. Rich people are getting married at a way higher rate than those with lower incomes as the marriage gap between rich and poor hits a record 51%. Rich people are getting married at significantly higher rates than those from lower incomes, new research suggests. Only 1 in 5 couples from the poorest backgrounds are getting married, compared to almost 3/4 of high-earning households. Researchers found that 71% of children born into a higher-income family have married parents, as opposed to 20% of the poorest families. This widens the marriage gap between rich and poor to around 51%, the study from the Marriage Foundation has found. Researchers believe the high cost of getting married might be an obstacle to those wanting to tie the knot, as support for marriage is still consistent among all income groups.
Okay, so this is a big one here. It says support for marriage is still high. People typically support this endeavor. Like they want to do it. It's in their future plans. They still look at it as a positive outcome. So people support it generally. You do have just a group of people over here, women or men, that are like, don't do it, right? That's a small minority. But what's also important in that case there is there also said something that I wanted to highlight, but I'll have to go ahead and rewind it because this is important.
High cost of getting married.
The high cost of getting married. The high cost of getting married. So you have wedding ring, wedding band, possibly you have, the wedding itself, the after party, destinations, honeymoon, and the perceived cost of getting married. Now, shout out to the people that are going to be normies that will say, you don't need all of that. You don't need a big ceremony. You don't need a big dress. You don't need a big ring. You don't need a big popping circumstance and this type of thing. All right. And this is typically the rebuttal of people who are trying to say, well, you can do without that. The problem is you would have both people agree to that. If both people don't agree and one person says they want a pomp and circumstance and the other one wants a destination wedding and no honeymoon, the honeymoon is the destination wedding, you're going to have conflict. And we still have conflict between engagement rings. Some women are like, it's a gift. I want 18, 50, 11 carats. I don't want a Cracker Jack box ring. So the ring itself is going to knock people out of the box, with the traditional 6 month of salary. So people then will say, well, we did a cheap wedding and it was fine. And we had everybody have disposable cameras and everything was gravy. And we are still married to this day. But you're in the minority. That doesn't argue away the fact that people are going to want it to be a big event. You don't need to have it to be a big event. Yeah, obvious. But people are going to want to have it. Now, then what if you meet that woman? Right? Not everybody's going to the courthouse. Some people want a nice event. That's not my problem, though.
Marriage might be an obstacle to those wanting to tie the knot, as support for marriage is still consistent among all income groups. The study also found that newborns from the poorest households are 9 times less likely to have a dad living there.
Okay.
Military chiefs to meet in UK next week as Starmer confirms Ukraine peace effort moving into operational phase. What has been almost completely overlooked and ignored in discussion of the trend away from marriage, a 78% drop among men and 73% drop among women in marriage rates since 1972, is the presence of a marriage gap between rich and poor, the report said.
Wow.
Quite simply, marriage is still the norm among the richest families, but is increasingly the exception among the poorest families.
Wow. See there, I mean, look, this is not debatable. So the elites, the affluent, it's normal. All right. It's the norm. All right. But once you start getting down to poor and middle class and poor, it's not the norm. It's the exception. People do not want to have that conversation. They still believe it is the norm amongst this group of people. It's not. You're the exception in a variety of ways. You're the exception that wants to have a courthouse or a destination wedding or a wedding in a barn house with disposable cameras, no videographer, no fancy photos, no fancy clothes. You're the exception, and you're proving the rule. So as you go down in income, even amongst men that make not enough income, they're completely writing off marriage. They're like, hell no. Not a shock on my side, but on the normie side, this is a shock to the system. Right? This is shaking up the world because they have to recognize the reality. It ain't coming back.
The report shows the marriage gap has been widening for the last decade, partly due to COVID restrictions. Harry Benson, Marriage Foundation's research director, said, "Over the last decade, the marriage gap has worsened considerably while a clear majority of rich couples continue marry, enjoying all the benefits it brings. Among the poorest couples, just 1 in 5 will marry."
Not a shock.
Trump set to ban citizens from 43 countries, including Russia, from traveling to US in shock immigration proposal. This is calamitous for their children and more broadly for society, which must pick up the pieces of family breakdown.
Hey, y'all gotta solve this problem. Coach, what's the solution? It ain't my solution. It ain't my problem. My solution is for the individual now. I have to be individual. How to protect yourself, free agent lifestyle, boss up, get your bag up. All right. That's how you work around it, because obviously once you rise up in income, you have a better mate selection. You might have somebody that might be able to be more willing to go through the business end of the marriage. You're going to see what you have to risk and lose. But people are looking at this decline and they denied it. Oh, y'all just bitter and hurt. And then now they're dealing with the reality of it. Okay. Because eventually even some women will say they don't want to get married and have kids. Eventually all they have to do is change their mind. They meet the right guy and they change their mind. Okay. All of a sudden they're having his babies. All of a sudden they're getting married. Men too. Oh man, I ain't get married. Then the right person comes along and you're like, but I'm in love with you. Okay. So it can happen relatively quick. Most people that get married, they don't know each other very long, especially middle and lower class people. Okay. There's a funny scene in Back to the Future of Doc Brown in Back to the Future #3. Doc Brown goes back to the Old West. All right, I'm going to take this down because it's story time. All right, story time. Here we go right here. And so while he's back west, he's a blacksmith and he's doing well. Well, Marty comes back because, Back to the Future. And then he bumps into Doc because in Back to the Future #2, he sees that Doc has been shot. So he has to go back to prevent Doc being shot. But when he goes back to the future, back to the past, and Back to the Future #3, he shows Doc that you got shot in the back by Buford Tannen over $50 or $30 or $3 or whatever it is. Now, they read the tombstone of Doc Brown, and it was to his beloved Clara, to my beloved Clara. But when he goes back, Doc doesn't even know who Clara is, but he's going to be dead in a week. Okay. He's going to be dead. So he was like, who the hell is Clara? And Marty's like, yeah, it was a matter of $80. So Doc is like, I don't even know a Clara. How would I have a beloved Clara? And I don't even know a Clara, but I put Clara on my tombstone. What happened was he eventually was going to run into Clara, who is Clayton's ravine. She's supposed to die, but Doc saves her. Blah, blah, blah. Right? He meets her, and it's serendipity. He falls in love immediately, and then within the week, they're in love. Okay, so the point I was making there is that people tend to fall in love. They have a plan for their lives. They fall in love pretty rapidly, and within a year or two, you're married and having kids. You don't even know who the person is. You're minding your own business, and then this person comes along and you rush it down here. 6 months later, you're having a kid. 6 months later, you're proposing. 6 months later, you're planning a marriage. Okay, so when you look at the idea of people saying they seemingly be not against marriage, they just haven't met a person. You can meet somebody relatively quickly, and you're 27, you're 28, and you're just minding your own business. Clayton comes along, and boom. Now you're like having kids and you're talking about it and you're getting your whistle wet. And in 2 years, you got a family. 2 years, you got a family. And then in 8 years, you got a divorce. All right, so let me see here. There's some more stuff here related to this. Pew Research, marriage is increasingly becoming a privilege of the wealthy. Guys, they're catching up to me, man. I love to see it because, you know, it vindicates me and my ideas. It vindicates me because I've been saying this. According to Pew Research, adults with a college degree and higher income are significantly more likely to marry and stay married. In contrast, marriage rates have dropped sharply amongst low-income earners, Jiffy Lubers, with economic instability cited as a barrier. Psychologists note that financial stress reduces relationship satisfaction and increases conflict, making long-term commitment harder to sustain. All talking points of CGA. That's everything I've been saying, bruh. It's always going to come down to the money. Money matters in relationships. For all you free niggies, and this should be free, and a woman's love language is if she pays for you. Money, when the money's wrong, you will have stress in your relationships. I mean, I'll live this. So the money doesn't matter at first. The love matters. But, dude, life happens. Now you have kids or you have a house or you want to buy a house or anything, a car, your car breaks down. When financial stress enters your relationship, it reduces relationship satisfaction and increases conflict. Not that hard to figure out, but you just have too many people that don't want to acknowledge this. This is why I say all men pay. The results, marriage is no longer just about what? Love. It's about affordability. CGA again. So today, marriage isn't just romantic, it's financial. Security, stability, and access, all men pay. Men are in love, women are in business. It has nothing to do with love. But coach, what about love? People are really catching up. I mean, and not only are they catching up, it's the reality. You can't deny the reality. The numbers are there. The reality's there. Okay. It's very hard. Okay. And in our economy, it's hard to sustain relationships. Okay. So you can want to get in there broke and do struggle of, but forget it. All right, who forget it? But I've been shadow banned and demonetized as a result of this, and I'm sick because guess what? You just have the realities of this happening. So let me play a couple of videos here to back up my point. This is a guy named Dr. Jawanza Kunjufi. Sorry if I butchered his name. But marriage is about the economy. Relationships are about the economy. Love is about the money. It's about the economy. When the economy is in the shitter, you're going to see catastrophe in relationships and marriage. You're also going to see women switch how they mate. Okay. When feminism was at its peak, these women were like, we going to get married and blah, blah, blah. We don't want to work. We don't want to cook, clean. We ain't doing none of that shit. Today, what are you seeing women do? It's tough for them to sustain their living arrangements with one income, even if they earn a good income. What are they doing? Selling pussy on the side, or they're selling services on the side. They're working part-time as Uber drivers, and they're working which is what they would do to their kids. They're working at care.com. They're working at nanny.com. They're cleaning houses on the side. They're working as DoorDash deliverers. They're doing exactly what they would have done had they been married. And then they're also at the same time trying to date somebody that is on their level or above. So they're doing the gig economy. They're doing the exact job that they would have done as a mom. They're just doing it as a single woman, all right, or a divorcee. He says a whole bunch of side quests, right? They're doing the exact same things they would have did with their kid. Cut up hot dogs, pick them up, take them over here to soccer practice, but they do it for other people's kids. Care.com. All right, they pick up another kid from school. The parents are working, and the parents can't take up because they're both working jobs, mom and dad. So then this woman comes in, she's childless. She works at careornanny.com, and then she cleans up, she picks up the kid from school and takes him to soccer practice. It's like, whoa. I even know women that have full-time jobs, but they do housekeeping on the side. And then what else are they doing? They're selling pussy on the side. They're doing monetized dating. Oh, wait. This is where we are. They'd rather do that than to stop what they're doing and stop the progress that they're making in their career, their college degrees. Dude, and then they end up going back to school at that, which is going to be shooting themselves in the foot. So then they try to find another way. Okay, this degree didn't work for me. I'm going to go back to school. Yep, they're babysitting, they're housekeeping, they're cleaning, they're doing daycare. So they're doing the jobs that they would have done by being married. They just don't have to deal with one husband. So they deal with 5 bosses and a manager and do some luxury dating and sell some pussy and do stripping and OnlyFans on the side. Read my book, The Evolution. More and more and more and more people are just doing this till it becomes the norm. Yep, dog walking. They could have their own dog to walk. Nope, they walk somebody else's dogs. So then they become side chicks and, willing side chicks. But they call it sugar baby. That was a side chick. That was just a side chick would try to steal a man's wife. Now they just sell the husband pussy on the side and keep it cool. As long as they getting their money. Whew. Am I preaching here? By the way, I wrote about this in my book, The Evolution. I told you that we're not going forward here. We're going to go in a whole new direction, and we aren't ready for it. But let me get the video of the brother here. His name is Dr. Jawanza Kunjufi. Okay. He's going to break down why economics determines relationships, not love. All right. And why when the economy changes, so does marriage. Okay. So let's listen to the brother here.
1 of every 3 marriages in this country, black or white, ends in a divorce in 18 months. Now, you see, it used to be if you got divorced, something was wrong with you. But when you have a stat this high, something must be going on in society. I now want to explain what that is. When America believed in agriculture, America believed in extended family. When America believed in the factory, industrialism, America believed in the nuclear family. But now that America believes in the computer, now America believes in a single parent family. Make sure you see my analysis. When the economy changed, the family structure changed. There was more than love in these relationships. There was some money involved here. Our grandparents worked the fields together, had economic reason to stay together, and so they did. In the factory, man works in the factory, woman takes care of children. Economic reason again to stay together. But in this new economy, where you now have women working just as much, if not more than men, you now hear women telling men, I don't need you, got my own job. Do what I want to do when I want to do it. And we are now doing it very well and by ourselves. You know the #1 song in America a couple of years ago, ain't nothing going on but the rent. If you want to be with me, you got to have a job. It's all about money. All about money. When the economy changed, the family structure changed.
When the economy changes, the family structure changes. Is this not true? And this video is from the 1980s. All right. This video is from the 1980s. Is this not true? This is what we're seeing today. When the economy changes, the relationship changes. So unless you guys can change the economy, let me just say this. Unless you could change the economy back to what it was, you'll never get relationships back to what it was. And I've been banking on this for years. This was literally what I rolled the dice on. And I didn't even have to roll the dice really that hard. I was rolling the dice confidently. People were waiting for marriages and relationships to improve. And you guys were debating each other. And what if men did this? And what if women did this? I was just sitting back on the side like, forget it. Debate me, bro. I don't got to debate you on this. The economy is going completely different. Gig economy, prostitute economy. All right. Dual income economy, not only just dual income between partners or spouses, dual income between 1 or 2 spouses got 2 jobs and a side hustle. Okay. When you have fractured finances in relationships, cook, Okay, you got a disastrous economy like we have now because we had tariffs and we have hyperinflation between the last two presidential the last two presidents alone, and then you have COVID. Okay, I'm like, dude, there's no way y'all getting women to be submissive, and they can't be submissive. They'll be submissive to money. They ain't gonna be submissive to you, especially then when you look at where men are earning versus what women are earning. If you have a situation where women make just as much as men, how right here, how, bro? How, Sway? Then you're gonna have people become malcontents, if you will, red pillars, hyper feminists. You have just sprinkle, Wizard Liz. Then you have people that come up that don't really know shit from Shinola, and then everybody either finessing the system or whatnot. Now, here's another thing that I'm going to show you here. Let's see if we can get this video up. We might not be able to do it since I'm online. But listen to this breakdown. Listen to this breakdown. And you will hear this in these so-called debates. What's mine, what's his is ours, what's mine is mine. So what the husband makes, the women still want to go back to traditionalism. Oh, okay, I want a man that supports and provides and protects. His income will use for the family, but her income is separate. I said at this point, you can't have that and marriage be successful. How can you have women earn a lot more money, but don't support households? They still want to marry up or equal partnership. How do you have successful marriages? You cannot. You can have marriages, but not successful. Let's play this video related to this topic in the economy.
Dad has money, the whole family benefits. But when mom has money, the family might fall apart. I wish I was wrong, but this is reality. Same amount of money, but the difference between dad and mom is night and day. Mom's savings, that's her escape plan, her backup. She can leave whenever she wants, but every penny dad earns, that's for making his family's life better. That's the difference. Mom's love for her kids is unquestionable, but when it comes to money, she might hesitate. Dad, on the other hand, will go without so his wife and kids can have the best. Whoever controls the family finances determines how life goes. Dad has money, the whole family has security. Mom has money. She's thinking about her exit strategy.
Oof. Oof. All right. And somebody said, this is so true, yet there are some women who won't accept it. Bro, you better accept this shit. You don't need the women to accept it. You better move accordingly. You better move accordingly. When mom has money, she going, I got to get the fuck up out of this situation. All right. I ain't about to save this guy. All right. She looking for the exit strategy. Hypergamy, monkey branching, monkey barring, whatever you call it. All right. Being alone. I'll just stay home. Now, this is our reality. You will find that this is the norm. This is not there. Any woman saying not me, you're the exception. Overwhelmingly exception. And so much so that only 30% of women are head of household financially. Only 30% of women. All right. So there's the economics on that. And ask any current woman that's in her 20s this question. Oh, yeah, she's going to be like, yeah, his money is our money. My money is my money. My money is separate. Ask Yada Awakening. Yada Awakening, what is your financial arrangement? If she makes money, it's her money. But the money I make is for everybody to support and provide. Like, whoa. And then women will be like, yes, that's how it should be. But of course, do we have an economy that supports that? No. We don't have economy for 20 to 30-year-olds that support that. So that means people are waiting till later. And then women smarten up and men smarten up by their 30s and be like, I'll just stay single. All right. Especially if I don't find the right person. Okay. Especially if I don't find the right person. A couple more videos related to this topic. This really, really important topic. We have Judge Judy, who is a non-feminist. She says she's not a feminist. Judge Judy. It says, Judge Judy says women should earn their own money. Otherwise, men can control them. What do you want me to do, guys? You want me to have solutions around this relationship issue? I can't. My solutions are going to be trade-offs. This is what you can do. You can go to the JUCO. You can live free. You can live separately from your girlfriend, wife, or spouse. You can marry internationally. You can travel internationally. but I'm not solving the marital problem. It's unsolvable, meaning that you want me to solve it to get it back to the 90s or the 50s. Guys, it's going to be 2050 and 2090. So it says right here, let's go, Judge Judy.
If you're happy at home, being a full-time homemaker and parent, and they're needed, you need somebody to take kids on field trips and to be there for the bake sale and for be a really active part of the PTA. That's what makes things go around. If that's satisfying for you, that's great. But I always believe that a woman has to have a way of earning a living.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because if a woman, different from a man, if a woman doesn't have a way of supporting herself, she is in a position of being controlled. I think that and it doesn't always happen in a fashion that's aggressive.
Right.
But that's a mentality. And so in the back of your mind, you should always have a way of saying, I don't like this. This is not making me happy.
Not happy. What are we hearing? I'm not happy.
This is not making me fulfilled.
Fulfilled.
I would like to change, but I can't.
Stuck.
Because I have I don't have a plan. I don't have an exit plan.
Exit strategy. Where did we just hear that? We just heard that in the previous video. No exit strategy. He controlling me. Financial abuse. He got too much leverage over me. CGA, leverage and options. Why I pay 100%. Controlling insecure. So she's telling the women, these are the women that y'all gonna marry and do what? Raise the kids? She's telling them, man, no, fuck that, bro. Go get your own money. Dude, there's no way out. There's no way out of this quagmire.
New world order.
This is a quagmire that nobody can solve. Emotions ain't going to solve this. The need for love and loneliness is not going to solve this, because you can have a lonely woman. Soon as you start telling her to get rid of her job and raise the kids, she's going to be like, nah, what's wrong with you? Are you a Neanderthal? Right? So you're going to have less and less, especially if she's older than 28, 30, 31. She's not quitting her job. She's going to be like, I feel like you're going to prison me and trap me. But she also wants a provider. I want a provider man. Right? I want a guy that takes care and pays all the bills. I want a guy that pays all the bills and then I'll pay for the rest, or I'll pay all the bills and I'll just pay for my maintenance. It's just, I can't see a way out of this to where it's going to satisfy both of the genders. All right. She's explaining this thoroughly. I'm breaking this shit down like a fraction.
And that's very sad for a woman. A man always has an exit plan. I mean, most men can live out of a shoe.
Exactly. So men can live with less. Not a surprise there. All right. Damn, she said most men can live out of a shoe, because most men get divorced and they become homeless and then they rise out of the ashes. Right. Whereas a woman gets divorced and she's not necessarily homeless. And then 5 years later, she's homeless doing DoorDash. So, that's where that video is. So you have this idea that men want women to be submissive wives and stay at home and raise kids and, trad-con marriages. It's not available to you, especially if you're middle class or lower. It's not available. All right, we got this video. We got two more videos. We have a prank video of women telling their husbands that the woman can't pay their portion of the mortgage or rent. Okay, so this is a funny skit that kind of tells us where we are. All right, these are traditional people that married, a year or two ago, or maybe 10 years ago. And does this mindset exist today? Telling my husband I can't pay the mortgage this month.
I'm going to be able to pay the mortgage this month.
I got you.
You're not going to what?
I'm not going to be able to pay the mortgage this month.
Well, you don't ever pay the fucking mortgage anyway. So what's fucking changed?
I was just going to let you know that I can't pay it this month.
Oh, thanks for letting me know.
I can't pay the mortgage this month.
Okay. You don't pay it anyway.
All right. So you see what's happening here right now. For the people that are 20, let's go 18 to 28. This is not a reality for you where you could be like, bitch, you don't pay the bills anyway. This is not reality. All right. Not economically as we exist today. Now it'd be more likely for her to say, where's your half of the rent? All right. But here it is. The normies are like, what? See, this is what women typically would want, but they also want their careers. So these are working couples, but the guy still pays the bills in this skit, in this prank video. They're like, you don't pay. Like, this is crazy. They looking at her like, what? You're not going to have your half of the mortgage? Today, you don't have this. This is not going to be the norm of future relationships. So where does those exist? All right, so let me see here. Let's finish the video.
You don't have one.
Just letting you know I can't pay it this month.
That's not part of your responsibilities.
That's not part of your responsibilities. Okay, now women will say, yes, we love this. This is the way it should be. How do you have that? Where men and women are supposedly making equal money. So a small percentage of women will get a guy like this, a very small percentage. And the other women, a good percentage of them will hold out for a relationship like this. They're going to hold out for it. All right, I want a guy that has this mindset. There's not enough guys. He's like, it's not a part of your responsibility, ma'am. I pay the bills. I'm a real man. Okay, here we go.
You take care of the kids. I pay the mortgage.
I know.
Yeah, I'm
Pretty simple. You take care of the kids. I pay the mortgage. Simple, right? Not so simple, especially if you're not white and you're not privileged or you're not affluent. Okay.
I'm not going to be able to pay the mortgage this month.
You haven't even paid for a freaking Happy Meal in the last 20 years.
There it is. You haven't even paid for a Happy Meal in 20 years. So again, that's 20 years ago. They've been married for 20 years. Now, remember, my breakdown on this is to show you in the past, it could happen. So if you got married 10, 20, 15 years ago, you could have this structure. This structure still somewhat exists because that group of people got married under that dynamic. But today, if people are getting married today, it's not under this structure. It is not economically under the structure for the norm. And the data is showing you this. It said the last 10 years it's been declining. That was a 20-year marriage where she hasn't paid for anything in 20 years. It doesn't exist today. So now what do you have? Working women. Let me play a couple more. Okay, let me play a couple more.
I don't know what you're meaning right now.
I always help
Help what?
with the mortgage.
No, you don't.
What do you
Are you recording me?
Yeah, he flabbergasted. Like, bitch, what are you talking about paying? You can't pay the mortgage. You ain't never paid the mortgage. He's going to go golfing or he's going on his fishing boat, Bass Pro Shop. He's going to go see his mistress at the sleep and fuck motel. She's going to stay at home and raise the kids, be barefoot and pregnant. All right. That's an old mindset. But as you can see, they're still exposing it. And this is a way of women bragging. All right. This is a way of women bragging. I got a guy that pays all the bills.
I'm just not going to have the money.
Don't worry, I can be a sleazy landlord.
Oh, no.
We can find a way for you to pay.
You're going to find a way for you to pay. Why? You're going to give me that marital punani. I'm a sleazy landlord. All right. And she laughing and sniggling. Okay, I'll just fuck my way to give my husband some pussy and he'll take care of the bills. All right. I could get it there. All right. You got some legs. All right. And she's sitting there like this. She's sitting there like this right here. She said right here.
Because I got the pussy for the money. If you got the money for the pussy.
And transactional relationship. As I said, transactional relationship. I'll find a way for you to pay that rent. You can't pay the rent. I'll find a way. Legs up.
Because I got the pussy for the money. If you got the money for the pussy.
All right. All men pay. All men pay. Y'all don't want to believe me, bro. He said.
Because I got the pussy for the money. If you got the money for the pussy.
And he said, I got money. And this is a marriage. All right. Come on. Legs up. All right. Right to the throat. Barbecue. All right. You can't pay your half? I'm going to find a way.
Hey, Jaron. I don't think I'm going to be able to pay the mortgage this month.
Again, unless you're white, unless you're affluent, unless you're upper middle class, unless you're a high successful immigrant, right? And you're bringing in that traditional relationship in, this is normal. If you ask people who are millennial, young millennials, or Gen Z, this is not normal. Men are going to say he's simping. The women are going to say we need men like this. Sierra's prayer. The woman's going to come in with two other men's kids, and she's making ground round steak, and you're going to come in and give her first T-bone. And these are marriages that existed 10 years ago, before the decline, before the shift in the economy.
Do you even know what a mortgage is?
You don't even know what a mortgage is. All right. The women like this, they want it like this. It's just not possible. There's not that many men like this that exist today in his age group and below. Do you even know what a mortgage is? He like, you dumb bitch. He said,
Silence, you fool.
Listen, I won't be able to pay the mortgage this month.
You don't pay the mortgage any month.
All right. So this is a good little normie skit. And he's in his 40s. He's been married 15 years. He's not a simp. That's just the way it was 15 years ago. That's what it was 20 years ago. That's how it was. That's how relationships were structured 20 years ago. Today, they're not structured like this. He like, bitch, you ain't paid the mortgage any month. Today's men are not built this way. Neither are the women. All right. Shout out to this guy.
I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month.
I got you, babe.
I got you, babe. All right. I got you, babe. Men aren't built like this anymore. I mean, the relationships aren't structured like this. I think I do have one more video that can drive this point home. And we have this woman right here. This is Abba and Preach reviewing a video of a woman. We're going to review the whole video, but fair use. And as you can see, we haven't been having problems. So I believe it's either my StreamYard or the internet was not cleared out. Listen to this woman. She says, the woman says, I'm going to fuck others till you marry me. I'll never have a boyfriend again. I'll never have a boyfriend again. First of all, I halfway agree with her, but they're saying while I'm waiting to get married, I'm going to be in these streets. This is a different breed of man and woman. So the women are like, okay, I'm going to kick the can down the road. I'm going to get my finances together. I'm going to get my hustle and I'm my boss, babe. But I'm not going to be a virgin. I'm going to fuck until I find my husband. Woo! Okay. Here we go.
But this is just where I'm at and how I'm approaching dating at this stage in my life, especially as a single mom and someone who's really intentional with my energy.
So let me stop right now. She's a single mom. I mean, curtains. She already a single mom. She already carried before she married. So what are you talking about? Let's continue.
I've decided that I don't do the whole boyfriend, girlfriend thing anymore. To me, that language, guys, it feels a bit high school. I'm not interested in being anyone's girlfriend. What I'm interested in is being a wife. And for me, it doesn't make sense to give someone exclusive access to me unless there is a formal, tangible commitment.
Man, we are in doomsday. And by the way, the regular average woman thinks like this. I know they're going to say they don't, but she's literally saying, I'm not going to give you wifely duties. I'm not going to cook and clean for you until you put a ring on it. Until you pay for me. Monetize, pay. Okay, pay up. Until then, I'm going to be on the cock carousel. I'm going to have another man's baby. All right. I'm not going to do wife shit. And the average woman, women will tell you. All right. These women are telling other women, you're not just going to be cooking and cleaning for this guy. All right. And you ain't married to him.
As in, I am engaged or married. Think about it.
When you go to a doctor's office and you fill out a form, I haven't heard this one before.
I'm sorry, I checked out.
I feel you.
When you go to a doctor's office and you fill out a form, you only ever see 4 options: single, married, divorced, or widowed. That's it. There is no girlfriend or boyfriend box. That's not even a real status.
Well, it's not a real legal status, but it's clearly a real status, right?
All right. So shout out to Admin Preach. We're not going to hear what the hell they talking about. Let's skip ahead.
It's not even a real status. So until I am engaged or married, I consider myself single, not in a careless way, but in a conscious and empowered way.
Yes. That's another way.
Of course, conscious and empowered. All right. That allows them to be skeezers and say, I'm empowered with my body. All right. And I fucked and did what I wanted. Okay. Let me see where it is right here. Empowered is just skeezer talk.
They're saying, listen, I'm a whore, but don't use that title, please.
Pretty much.
Not in a careless way, like I'm throwing my pussy at everyone.
Yep.
But
I sold some too.
Because here's the thing. I don't believe that men need exclusivity in order to get to know me or in order to decide if I'm the woman that they want to build a life with.
Wow. Guys, I've been saying that forever. I said what men want is to believe that the woman he's dating is exclusive. Right? Now, women have taken that off the table. But why would he commit to you when you're not exclusive? Guys, you can't talk women out of this, right? I like I said, it's tough. So the women are like, why would I get rid of my roster until you commit to me? Quagmire, Catch-22, Paradox. Okay, so we're in a situation now these days where it's like there's no meeting in the middle. So the woman's like, I'm not going to be exclusive until you put a ring on it. The guy's like, I'm not going to put a ring on a whore. There's some guys that will. You're in a dilemma. You're in one of these, what I call the manosphere, begins with a C. Where the manosphere has this issue where men are saying this. Men are like, women should marry early. And then when I ask you, are you going to marry women? No, I would never marry. Okay, wait a minute. Like, wait, you're saying women should settle down and marry early and not ride the carousel. And at the same time, you're not even going to marry women. Yep, the conundrum, the red pill conundrum. I did a video on that on my main channel. This is the red pill conundrum. We are literally in a series of catch-22s, conundrums, paradoxes, and whatnot. Like, how the hell are we going to have a meeting of these minds? How the hell do you push forward from this? All right, let me see if she has anything else to say. All right, and then she does right here, and then let's see here.
Or cut myself off from potential options while they figure out if I'm the one or not.
Wow.
That just really doesn't make sense to me. And to be clear, that does not mean that I'm sleeping around or being reckless. I'm incredibly intentional with my energy, my time, and my body.
Yeah, right.
For me, it's very simple. Dating is dating. And unless there is a ring on my finger, I reserve the right to stay open and sovereign in my decisions. Because the truth is, if someone else came along who felt like a better fit, I would want them to have the space to explore that before making any big decisions with me, right? I would rather find that out sooner than later. I don't want to stand in the way of someone else's clarity or alignment. And the same goes for me. If someone shows up who feels more serious and is more aligned with the kind of life and love that I desire, I want to be free to explore that too. To me, it's not about playing games. It's about self-respect and protecting my heart, my time, and my energy. Secure men and women will not be threatened by this.
Yeah. See. Secure men and women won't be threatened about that. That's just a way to guilt people into not being a Neanderthal traditionalist and this and that. Well, if you're secure, you'll be okay with it. Nah, bitch. Wow. That is insane. But again, this is not a surprise. So anyway, shout out to you guys. Thank you for sticking through this topic. I know it was difficult watching the first 2 streams. By the way, I attempted 2 streams. If you're just watching me today, I attempted 2. I had an issue on my side. Those streams are still up, but they're not easy to watch. And there will not be any audio playback. Maybe I'll just do an audio on this one. But if you have the link to those streams, you can still watch them. If you don't, they'll be hidden forever. And all of that in the bag of chips. Let me get to the super chats. All right. But hey, man, CGA been proven right again. All right. That we are not going backwards. We're going forward. Relationships are going to be tough. Okay. We have an open sexual marketplace. We have a hookup culture, post hookup culture. We have a monetized dating. We have conundrums. And it's not just the toxic people on the internet. People are living these conundrums and they ain't making no posts on the internet. Okay. Women are encouraging other women to keep their rotations. Yes, they are. It is insane. Shout out to Ronald. He says, thank you for the comeback. Pause on YouTube. CGA never does have days in the morning streams. I think StreamYard definitely looks better. He says right here, higher quality, less contrast, and crispy frames. Coach Gang, agree or disagree? This is right now. You guys normally watch me on Stream Labs. You're watching me on StreamYard. Streamlabs has a lot more bells and whistles. Stream Labs has less control for me to change the contrast of the screen. I can invite people up better on StreamYard, but on Streamlabs, it's a lot better when I share screens. I can frame things a lot better, whereas over here, I can't. So for an example, StreamYard, it's easy for me to fire it up, but then when I share a screen, you're going to see it like full share, right? Instead of me having it in a little pretty little box. The quality of it is hit or miss, right? Sometimes it's too bright. Sometimes it's not, depending on what I'm wearing as well. So this is easier to fire up. So sometimes it's too bright over here and all of that. But if you do want to jump in on this topic or you're a hater, we do have a little bit of time. All right. What time is it? Yeah, it's 12:05. Let me see here. We have a little bit of time.
Yeah, I got time, cuz.
I'll drop the link for you niggies. All right. If you a hater, let me see here. Somehow I got oh, here we go right here. If you're a hater, you can come on up. Let me see here. Let me do this. I'll read the super chats though. There's the pin. It's pinned to the top. Shout out to Ronald Martinez says, thank you for that. Dr. Love says, I strongly agree with CGA. When the wealthy elites marry, I believe it's mostly stems from maintaining a concentration of power. When the middle class and poor marry, it leads to dysfunction because the lower class has less power and are under duress. Marriage collapses under tension and stress. Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. And a little bit of tension and stress will collapse a marriage fast. When you're living on a budget, your marriage is going to be fucked up. Shout out to Tranisha says, I learned from a financial channel that the reason we have more situationships, friends with benefits and welfare queens, because modern men are more financially insecure. Yep. And to be a husband means that you have to take on more responsibilities. Plus, women aren't legally property anymore. Easy to figure out. Women are not property. Women have significant rights that they don't want to peel back. Men are less inclined to push forward because they don't have a relationship, right? Relationships do make you perform. It's going to put a light of fire under your ass. When your kids aren't eating, I know people want to make it about the woman, but when you see your kids not eating and you're a responsible man, your ass is going to get out of work. You're going to get out there and work. Okay, so it's not about the woman and her purses and her desires. It's about you going, my kids don't have food. I mean, nothing pleases a father more than him knowing that his kids are being fed. He'll go without a meal. He'll work overtime to make sure the kid, he can't come home to a dog and a kid hungry and a woman looking at him like, Nick. So today's men don't have the possibility of relationship. So are they working harder? No. They're like, dudes will literally say, what's the point of becoming a better man if I'm not going to get a woman? Like, that's where guys' minds are. And I'm like, how does that make sense? Why do I need to do push-ups? Why do I need to do pull-ups? Why do I have to get swole? Why do I have to get more money? Why do I have to get my recessed chin? Why do I have to fix my teeth? So in that case, this is the condition of men. Men are saying, why become better if I can't get women? Like the whole where they call it self-improvement, where the red pillars that say self-improvement is a scam. And I'm like, bro, why not become better for yourself? Free agent lifestyle. Your purpose to become better is for you to feel better about yourself. You have to live with yourself. Don't do it for women. Women are a result of it. But because men are not getting the access they want out of women, they're giving up. They're like, nah, fuck that, man. I'll just be me. And so as a result, if you track this down from, we've already had 10 years of this. We've already have 10 years of this. Incel, true force loneliness, red pill, MGTOW, free, whatever you want to spin it as, manosphere. We have 10 years of this. If we take this another 10 years, you're going to see men earn less, women earn more. Now you have the balance tip completely to the point where you are not going to get marriages and relationships back on the game. You're going to have a 90-10 rule. 90-10 rule. And women will whore themselves out and sell pussy, and they'll do a variety of ways. They'll go to Jamaica. They'll keep their roster until you marry them. They'll stay single. All right, that's where we are. We got Dr. Love says, I heard the great Anton Daniel say on many occasions that marriage is for poor people. He even posted a video a year ago with this title, Do You Agree? I used to agree, but now I've decided because of your info. He says, I would also like to see if the fellas in the chat agree. The idea of marriage is for poor people, meaning that poor people pine for marriage more. I don't know if that's what he meant in the video, but the idea that marriage would benefit the poor people better is true. And marriage, typically poor people or people who are not in a condition to improve themselves by themselves, typically are going to lean on marriage. So in a sense, I agree. I agree. However, the people who are going to benefit greater power-wise from marriage are going to be wealthy people. But you see more poor people upset that they can't get married. Rich people don't have this problem. That's why I keep telling you, as a guy, when you get your bag up, relationships are never going to be a problem. You will have women pining for relationships. I don't care how ugly you look. You're going to have a woman line up. Now, she might not be what you want, your cup of tea, but they'll put themselves in position because women aren't dumb, right? They'll see it. Might not be the woman you want. She might be coming disingenuously. She might sell you some, who knows? But that I never have a problem getting in a relationship as I stand today. Never. Right? Women are volunteering. Now, they're not coming the way I want to, so I'm staying single. Pause. I'm staying single because they're coming disingenuously, or they're not coming all the way. They're not in full submission. They want to maintain their control over in their life. They want to have their male friends and fuck who they want and still whore. And so I'm like, nah, fuck all that. And how do I find these ladies? I walk outside. I literally walk outside and ladies be looking at me. Let me just tell you, I was at when I'm outside, people have a funny idea. When you're a guy, women can smell if you're desperate, insecure, broke. They have a sixth sense for this. Especially older women. When I'm with a younger woman, older women be like, they cannot keep their eyes off of me. They can't. So we're not talking about older women. I'm talking about 30, 40, 50, and 60. They're looking. They're like, damn. They're interested. I was at a day, they called it a day club in Vegas. It's basically an outdoor swimming day club. I was with a young woman. All right. She's in her late 20s. The older women were just, even the younger women were like, y'all look great. Right. And you can see we have a 20+ year age gap. But they're looking, they're like, they could not keep their eyes off of me. Walking past me, giving me the look, saying hi. Now, if I was by myself, typically it's lower. They're not doing it as much. But when they see me with a woman and a younger woman, they put it together. They're like, oh, shit. Who is he? What does he do? Is he a celebrity? How did he get her? She's attractive. They both look good. What is it? They're curious. They can smell it. They would line up for a relationship with me right there. They'll be like, I'll take you. Do you need this? Do you need relationship? But guess what? They're coming in power couple. They're overworked, underpaid. They're in debt. They're older, soggier titties. But they'll jump in line for a relationship right now. It's not the relationship I want, but they'll jump in line for a relationship right now. Anytime I deal with an older woman, I fucked them twice. They want a relationship. Right away. Oh, you seem good, because I'm not an asshole. I'm not a nice guy, but I'm a good mix. They're like, why don't you just get into a relationship with me? We're good. So I get relationship offers all the time. Every day. I just walk outside. And don't let me be with another woman. Them bitches be looking and cut their eyes and looking. Dude, I drive up, especially if I'm in the G-Wagon or the Porsche. It's easy peasy. Them old broads, I call them old hens. Them old hens be looking, mouth open, especially if the white ones. They're looking like, who? What? Damn. Touching each other, pointing, looking at me at the restaurant all day long. So relationship is easy peasy for me. If I wanted a relationship and I was just desperate for a relationship, just like tomorrow. Matter of fact, this is what I could do. I could literally get on my phone right now. I could text 10 women that are 32 and up right now and say, you know what, girl, it's you. I've been thinking, I'm tired of running these streets. I'm tired of traveling. I'm tired of fucking these young women. I'm tired of paying for these JUCOs. You know what? It's you and me right now, baby. I've been thinking about you and you're the one. I can text that to 10 women right now and them bitches will be at my door tonight smelling like Chanel 13. Ready to go. They done trimmed up they pussy hairs up, ready to go. Them bitches done got they tucked in they labias right now. Ready to go with a gift. They will bring a gift to my door. They'd be like, oh, really? You ready? Okay, cool. All right. And I'll be like, you keep your own money. I'll support you and pay you. I'll be the man in your life. They be up here quick. They be picking out. They be asking me what color lingerie drawers do I need them to wear. They would be at the fucking door. There'd be a line at the door. I'm tired of hooking up with these bitches. I'm tired of these young bras running circles around me. I need it. I need that love. And I believe our sex and intimacy is top notch. They be at the fucking door right now. So I don't have a problem with it. Many men have a problem with it because they're not in position or they don't got the charisma, game, economics. And this is nothing I'm trying to brag about. This is just my position in life. I don't have a problem getting in a relationship or getting sex for that matter, but certainly not a relationship. All right. That is the easiest fucking thing I could get right now. I could get that more than anything easier right now. I could get that better than the oil change today. All right. So, and that's from women that are 30 to 60 in line. Now, they're going to not be the relationship I want, right? I'm going to still be pulling teeth and they'll be like, well, you begged me. You asked me type shit, right? You needed me. You picked me out. Shout out to our brother, Lucifer Ratzinger. Good to see you back. He says 100%, coach. That 80s black professional said it all, right? And that's our brother here. It is Dr. Let me get his name right. It is Dr. Jawanza Kunjufi. All right. And dude, like, I don't know, man. People don't really have a weird idea about me on the internet. But when they see me outside, people be watching me. All right. When I was at the day club and I was dancing with that little cutie, even dudes was coming up to me like, damn, like this one young dude was like, dude, how can I be like you? I was like, and it was a Chad. It was a Chad. But what does Chad not have? He doesn't have the money, the status, and he didn't have any girl on his arm. So he was like, he was a young Chad. He was like, I'm 29. And he was like, it looks like you have your shit together. You have a nice beard. You're in shape. He was like, when do I expect to be like you? And I was like, when you're 40. And he was like, damn, I got like 12 years. Another dude came up to me. He was like, dude, man, like you look like you got it going on. Your life is together. People can see people that have their shit together. All right. When I go outside, I'm not a loser. I know you think so, and I'm desperate and I got to pay for pussy, but in the real world, it ain't like that. Right. When I go outside and they see what I'm doing, they see how I'm moving, and I'm not all lurking and desperate and mad. All right. They know when a guy got his shit together. Men and women can smell it. So relationships is damn near easy. The easiest thing I could get right now. I could get that faster than I get a tank of gas. All right. All right. So, but a lot of people on the internet don't see that because y'all see some dude. I don't know what y'all see, but it's weird that y'all see some weird shit. He says, how you keep them, coach? The birds be flying away. For me, the best thing for me to do is get rid of women. That's the easiest thing I could do. Get rid of them, replace them, because I want to challenge them. And what I find is that women don't want to be challenged. All right. That's what I find. And I'm like, this is sad. All right. Women don't want to be challenged because the minute they come in and they don't want to change anything. And I find that to be appalling to me because I'm in a leverage position. I have leverage and options. But women come in and like, I don't want to change anything about myself. I don't want to change my behavior, how I operate in life. I don't want to change the way I submit. I don't want to change the way I dress. Like, they don't want to change shit. I don't care if they're younger, old, JUCO, or free women. They literally are coming in like, this is me, accept me. The minute you come in and start saying, okay, well, this part of your life I don't like, change this, change your behavior with this, they almost all 100% buck. The exception to this is a woman that knows me, test the market, and then come back. All right. That's the exception because then they're coming back like, oh shit, I had to spin the block. So I'll listen a little bit. So they'll listen a little bit. But it ain't like they're going to quit their job and listen to me and follow my direction. Now, if I force them into it, maybe. If I negotiated it, maybe. But what I'm finding is, what I find appalling is even when they know you're a good option, they still don't want to change. Even if they know that you're the that you guy, they don't want to change. All right. They're like, nah, I'm going to still be me, though. I'm going to still do what I do. And you're like, forget it. Like, I'm not about to put up with that shit. I want to put up with it. I'm not trying to fix a broad. I'm in a position where a broad have to come in. She going to have to be on point when she come in. Or I don't have to deal with her. Like, I don't have to be in a relationship. Shout out to our brother Avery says, military, tax filers, and senior citizens are the first to vote. Shout out to the military, tax filers, and the senior citizens. That was from earlier in the show. All right. Shout out to Luis says, restart the router, he should say. I should say. And then also you're getting, it's just a mixed bag. I just don't see women today, for the average guy, ready to be wives. You just have them ready to kind of be, how could I say this? They're ready to be in relationships, but they're not ready to be wives. They're ready to be partners, right? So you're investing in their previous life. Shout out to No Government Name says, you should see the divorce filings in Kentucky drop by 25% ever since they passed the 50-50 presumption of custody law. Also, NBC published an article saying that women narrowed the pay gap by having less children. All right. Interesting, right? So having less children, we have less children, right? So because they're not supporting children, they're not staying at home, they can narrow the gender pay gap by having less kids. And that's where we are today. That's like, for instance, let me just say this, like you're saying here. If I'm at my age now and I have a woman that is fertile, 25 to 40, if I said to her, I want 3 children, this is her prerogative. She can simply say no. Now, let's say that was the wife. That was the one I texted and I said, I choose you. Again, they don't want to change, which is their prerogative, but that's their opportunity to get with a guy that's established that can take care of her. Hey, listen, my only deal is I want to have 3 kids. She'll say no, and she'll ditch the whole relationship. Or she'll try to convince you to have less, which what men will do. Okay, I'll take 1. Okay, I'll take in vitro fertilization. Okay, I'll take when you're CEO. So you're on her plan now, which I don't get. I don't come from that era. I come from the era where the woman was on the guy's plan. Even they acknowledged it in the article. Like the woman would get with the guy and the guy would say blue, blah, blah. And then she would go for it. All right. She'd be like, I guess that's what he wants. 6 kids. And then complain about it later on. Right. So today the woman comes in there and says, oh, I'm doing this and I'm on this track and I ain't giving up this and I'm not going to wreck my body. I ain't going to do it. It's their plan. So even in my position, when the woman comes in and I'm like, okay, well, listen, this is what I want you to do. She's like, fuck that shit. Like, yo, yep, that's because you're a partner. You're investing in her. That's, by the way, this is a new form of relationship, which is making it less likely for relationships to be the old version of the relationships, which is you're seeing it's not working. It's plummeting the relationship marketplace and the marital marketplace. However, women still believe that that's the future, partnerships. I don't agree. And the data shows it. It's not working. Maybe it'll work in the future, which I've actually heard somebody even bring this up. They said in the future, we need to give it enough time for everybody to adjust to this new form of relationship and dating and marriage. I'm like, oh my God. So they're shifting years, centuries, millennia of programming to fit their narrative. Like they're literally shifting everything that we've done as a civilization to where the women now call the shots. It's going to take more than 10 years. It's going to take more than a generation. It's going to take we're talking about millennia of the way we did things, the patriarchy. They're literally trying to tip it on its head. Meanwhile, they're also trying to be married in partnerships. So you're marrying a feminist. You're marrying a feminist and you're agreeing to feminist propaganda by marrying a partner. Guys, if that's what you want to do and you're that lonely, go for it. But I'm in a position where I don't have to do that. That's why I can stay single. That's why I can look at the women that I see. And that's all right. Because all women have this feminist propaganda. All women, like women that are 20 and 25, they have this feminist propaganda. They don't know it's feminist propaganda, but they have it. Am I not right? They have it. Most women today, they're like, I don't want to be a submissive wife staying at home barefoot and pregnant and ruining my body having kids. That's feminist propaganda, right? So they're already coming in with that. They're already coming in with that. No matter if you're rich or poor, they're already coming in with that as the stock. Not many women are like, I'm a true submissive and I'll do whatever my husband says. They'll do it when they're 32, somewhat. And they done ran the gauntlet and they done been whored out. So then when you say, nah, I don't have a partner, I want a wife, they're already kind of looking at you like, they're looking at you like this right here. Like, what? Now watch this.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Let's say a woman says she's a submissive. You know what that means? She's a submissive in the bedroom. Not a submissive in nature. Not a natural submissive. Do you hear what I'm saying? So if a woman says she's a submissive, I'm a true submissive. She means in the bedroom. She's not meaning that she's a submissive nature and she wants to cook and clean and make you peanut butter and jelly sandwich. She's talking about when she's in the bedroom getting fucked.
I like to get dominated.
I like to
choked, whooped, spanked, told what to do. I need a man to take charge and let me just, be goofy.
She's talking about when her sugar daddy and her daddy and her, her dom. She's talking about when Chad. That's the submissive she talking about. She not talking about I'm a submissive and I'm submissive in nature. I listen to my husband and I does what he says. She ain't talking about that. She talking about when she getting fucked.
I like to get dominated.
All right. When it's time for that. But then when you go outside and you pull that domination shit outside, she gonna be like, nah, save that for the bedroom. Because out here, we're partners and equal. Am I right? That's That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's a whole different relationship dynamic. Tony Ocasio over here. I don't know. I didn't know that Facebook was created when Mark Zuckerberg got rejected by his girlfriend. Indeed. So did Playboy magazine. He says almost everything that is created by men is mainly because of a woman. Do you agree Mark Zuckerberg is a beta male or a zeta male? He says most men are deltas and omegas, not even betas. This is true. All right. Playboy magazine started from, I believe, Hugh Hefner's first divorce, if I'm not mistaken. Mark Zuckerberg made the Facebook platform, which was eventually, it was basically like reject or keep or fuck or toss. I can't remember what the game was called. But most men accomplish things through women. Not to blame women, but most men accomplish things due to or through a motivation of either traumatized by women, hurt by women, and or to impress a woman. Even me, as an example, my platform was created through my divorce. So in a sense, my divorce was the driver. The talent was already there. I needed the subject matter. I already was doing social media before I was doing this type of social media. As a result, I was able to parlay my divorce into this position. Okay. Even myself is included. It wasn't because I couldn't get women. I kind of talked about that content because it merged with the content. All right. But I use that as, it wasn't my problem. Getting women was never my problem. A lot of guys thought it was my problem. It wasn't. All right. And how could it be my problem when I fucking was married? Right. Dudes be like, you look nervous around women, haters. I'm like, nigga, how? I was married. Like, I'm not this guy that y'all want to put as the internet. He don't know how to operate around women and he don't have the mouthpiece. I literally was married. Come on, man. Like, dudes be making up stories in their own head to try to pigeonhole me. Now, I talk about the dynamics of men struggling and dating. That wasn't my problem, though. I was making a video about the dynamics. And everybody struggles with dating. But I literally was married. Come on, bro. How the fuck? But dudes come up with a whole concoction in their head of who CGA is in real life. Just come out in real life. You'll see it. Shout out to Time Out. No Government Name says it's funny seeing national news and social media tell men to be better men for women, while at the same time telling women they don't need men or to do whatever they want. He says, but they don't direct women to be better for men. Feminist propaganda. Okay. Feminist propaganda. Okay. So you don't realize there's people call it. I can't remember who called it this, and I wish I could give people credit. But today's society is downloaded. Their software is downloaded with feminism. So where you don't have to teach people feminism, we already have it downloaded into our software. So that when people speak today and they're under 40, they already have feminism already downloaded. To the point where I can sound like a misogynist just telling you I want a traditional woman. Right here. I want a traditional woman that cooks and cleans. Misogynist. Automatically. So this is the going software that you have to overcome. Then when you get to the school and you have niggerism and feminism being taught in extension by liberal professors, Marxist, communist, whatever you want to call it, they're getting it reinforced as it's downloaded. The kid gets it reinforced through Sesame Street and LO, all the way through Baby Shark, all the way through their whole programming, all the way through Arthur and the Little Fist. They get it all the way through before you even get to show up in the woman's life or the man's life. They already have it downloaded. Okay. For you, somebody said feminism freed men. Yep, it's true. You don't have to no longer marry for sex. Damn, they already tripping on my stream. You don't have to marry for sex anymore. When I was a young man, you have to marry for sex. The majority of men. Not that long ago, you had to literally, like, dude, there was a book called The Rules where they were telling women 90 days to wait for some pussy. Now, did all men wait for 90 days? No, we know this is not the case. But that was the general norm. Marry for sex. It was kind of somewhat standard for a woman to say, I want to wait until marriage. Standard. Like, it was like if a woman said it, you were like, oh, one of these chicks. Today, that don't even exist unless it's Sierra's prayer. So you already know she was a whore before she became celibate and had her journey. But back then, you didn't know when she was a whore, right? She might not have even been a whore. Let's wait a while before it's too late. Let's wait a while before things go too far. Huh? So it's not that long ago. I'm that old where I can remember a society that was not downloaded with feminism, right? I know that society existed. So I can look at society today and go, whew, like y'all getting a bad deal. CJ says, Coach, I've been listening to you on and off since 2019. When I was in my 20s, he says, I just want to let the younger audience know to take your word as gospel. It's not worth fighting out here on your own. I'm sorry. It's not worth figuring out here on your own. So we already know what happened to you. Bonk. Bonk. I know I'm extreme and I know I sound weird and strange. And I know people, you have your presumptions of me, even though, because, you know, I can only tell you so much and you can only see so much of me. But if you think you're going to beat what I'm telling you, you have a 90% chance of not beating everything that I say. Now, you can suffer. You can learn the hard way. You can get dropped on your head. You can get the old bunk on the head. I want you to experience life. I want you to experience women. But you got to believe me. What I'm telling you is the truth. Now, for the people who say otherwise, what I will then say is say, okay, the woman you have now is not like that. Okay. Because there's some people I know, there's some detractors to my message. And they say, Coach, I got married. I found the love of my life and it's been working out ever since. Okay. What about the women before that? They didn't work out. Some of y'all got children and you married your second time. What happened to the first one? Right? It didn't work out with her. You've been on child support for 12 years. How's that working out? And now you married another woman and now it works. Congratulations. I don't want it to not work, but also give her time. She might have a conniption. She might crash out. Right? You only been married for her for 5 to 7 years. Let's see if you can make it to year 12. So eventually that woman gonna crash out and burn. So what do you do now? So you better be prepared for that because you already lost a wife before that. What about the second wife? What happens when you lose them? So shout out to CJ. He said, for the young men in this audience, take my word as gospel. All right. I am not lying about what's going on out here. But if you want better experience with women and you're a guy that is, I'm that guy. You're not a natural charismatic guy. You're not a natural dominant alpha or a fake alpha male. You're not a natural guy that follows pimp principles and chronicles and you ain't about the ism. What I will tell you is get your bag up. Now, let me just explain this again because a lot of people don't hear this. Getting money does not improve your chances of keeping a woman and it doesn't increase loyalty. It doesn't put you in charge of her, although it could. But what it's going to do is give you better access to them. You could go right to the front of the line. And then you're going to learn a lot about women. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to go, wow. Yeah. You're going to go, damn, this is an interesting position. All of a sudden, legs are opening. Legs are opening. Yeah, Nipsey said the same thing. I saw that clip. Get a big bag and watch your world change. It's just going to increase your options. That's it. It's going to give you better access. That's all it's going to do. And it might get you a loyal girl that's finer than a motherfucker, and you can keep her for 6 months. It's going to be expensive. But if you are naturally not that guy, get a big bag and watch. All right, Nipsey could not possibly get that girl that he got. Who is his baby mama? Laura London. All it's going to do is give you more access and then give you the ability to learn. You better be ready, though, because you're going to have some fucking sharks after you. Lauren London? What's her name? Lauren London. So she has a baby by Lil Wayne and Nipsey. Come on, bro. Before Nipsey had a bag, he was not getting Laura London. But she has a baby. There he is. Rest in peace to Nip. Okay. Trust me. Nip knows, or he knew, he wasn't getting her without a bag. All right. Everybody knows that. And she was down and loyal till he was dead. And now she definitely jumping on somebody else's dick. Who's she dating now? She was dating Diddy. Uh-oh. Wasn't she dating Diddy before she dated Nipsey? And she was Lil Wayne's baby mama? That's all I'm saying, man. You just gonna get better access and faster access. Some men don't want this. Right? Some men don't want this, and you want it. Your ego can't handle it. All right. But listen, I'm gonna fuck a pretty face. That's all I'm gonna get me one. All right. And by the way, let's say you could get one of these women when you're that guy. You'll get 10 when you got money. Right? You'll get them, they'll be lined up behind you. And you'll be like, and all of a sudden they be up, legs up like field goal post. And you're like, damn, you too? You too? I mean, you just have them lined up and they'll be waiting for you. Now, are they messing with other guys? Yes, but they'll wait for you. All right. So that's all that's going to happen. All right. Now, if you don't want that and your pride can't handle it, it's okay. I know people's pride can't handle it, but Nipsey didn't give a fuck. Nipsey was getting thirds and fourths and 50ths. Yes, you get more access to 7.5 and above. All right. The women that you were like just desperately trying to get their attention, you'll get faster access to them. It's just a fast pass. It's just a fast pass, guys. That's all. Now, if your ego can't handle it, or you think these women are going to finesse you, or you feel like you're going to spend tens and thousands of dollars to get this access, I get it. All right. And men are going to look down for you, but bro, you're going to pull 7.5s and aboves all day long. That's it. Going to be the easiest you ever pulled, a 7.5, 8, and a 9. You'll never pull one easier. Just a fast pass. That's all it is. All right. Now, if you guys don't want that, I get it. All right. If this bruises your ego or somehow you're cheating the system, I don't know, man. Dudes will be like, you're cheating the system and you got to get it and buy it. Okay, bro. But you see me out here tossing her. Okay. You see what's happening out here, right? And some of them you'll get 6s and 5s even easier. All right. Never easier in your life will you get a 6. All right. Now, if you just that dude, you just that dude, but never in your life. All right. CGA. All right. Listen, you'll get women that be like, how did you get her? You must have paid a fortune for that. Nope. It don't take much. All right. They start smiling in your face. They smiling in your face. They'll start smiling in your fucking face, bro. And you'll be like, wow. Now, here's the thing. You're going to look back and go, is that all it took? That's going to be your conundrum. Trust me, I've experienced this the last 5 to 10 years. Because the strife that it took, like imagine this. I don't want to say it. The struggles that you had could have been solved with $500. The struggles that you've had in dating and relationships, even with your wife, could have been solved with $500. I'm going to give you another example of this. Let me give you another example. And do you guys got time? Let me give you another example. You guys know that if you get a speeding ticket, especially in Nevada, Las Vegas, you can hire an attorney to appear on your behalf, and you can get the charges reduced, and you just pay the attorney a fee. You don't got to go to traffic court, traffic school. The attorney appears on your behalf. You give the attorney $85, $150. He gets it reduced down from $400 to $150. It's almost a wash. It's a lateral move. A lot of guys don't have you don't have the money for this. So then you have to take a day off of work and go to court and argue it down. And the judge tells you to go fuck off and go to 18 hours of traffic court and then pay the full amount. But when you learn the system is gaming, it's pay for play. When you learn there's a system, the more you know, the more you realize, damn, I just got a point on my license as opposed to paying this lawyer, and I don't have a point. I don't have traffic school. I could just go ahead and pay this moving violation. I can play this roll through stop sign instead of 85 and the 30, where you about to get your car impounded. And you go, that's all it took? $85? Because the attorney was going to court anyway. He got 12 people he going to court with. $150? That's all it took? A lot of your problems in life are because you don't have $10,000. Right? A lot of your problems in life is you don't have access to $10,000. As a man, I'm trying to get you to understand this. This goes for women, life obstacles, marriage, work. Some of you guys have problems at work because you ain't got no fuck you money. A lot of you men have problems at your job and stress and strife because you can't tell your boss to go fuck off. Because you don't got 50 grand, 25 grand, 10 grand in the bank and say, man, fuck that shit. I'm walking off. That it boils down to 10, 50, 100. That's what it boils down to. You got problem with your wife because you can't tell her to fuck off and you'll pay her to go get a divorce. Divorce me, please. I'll pay. I'll write the check right now. And that check is 20 grand. A lot of you guys got problems in your relationships and problems with your family because you ain't got $10,000. A lot of you guys can't move right now because you ain't got the moving expenses. A lot of you guys are stuck in bad relationships because you can't pay the fee to break the lease. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it always boils down to pay for play. What do you have access to? What do you have access to? When you have access, you can get access to anything. I can get access to a fine girl for $500. I can get access to the baddest bitch for $10K. Let's go. Let's do it. And now I never have to chase one of these broads around because now I know where it's at. Okay. Last point. Look up a fast pass. When you go, again, first class flights, business class flights, fast pass, VIP sections. A lot of times people think it's a waste of money because they don't got the money. But let me tell you this. Once you've been to business class, once you've done a fast pass at a amusement park, never again will you not do it. And the fast pass, you paid $150 to get into the theme park and another $150 to get the fast pass. Then you see these motherfuckers waiting in line 2 hours for a ride in the sweat with fans and misters. Yep, you get clear for the airport or TSA pre-check. Once you jump to that shark and it took you 200, 300, 500, 700, 1,000, wow, 5,000. Once you do this, it's hard to go backwards. And you go, this only costs $2 grand, $5 grand, 600, 300. And you look at the grand scheme of things and you go, I'll just pay. Why would I sit in misery? Why would I struggle in dating and relationships? Why would I go to a nightclub or a bar? Why? Why would I pop bottles and buy drinks for girls for a conversation? Never again. That's the difference. We got big gains in the building. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Coach? I just had to come on. First off, this your older brother from the East Coast. When I had the gray beard, I said, okay, me and Coach look a little bit alike.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Big Gans from the Gangster Lifestyle.
Shout out to you,
Coach. I wanted to show you the hat because you hit it. The hat says built with fuck you money.
Let's go.
So you know where we coming from with that. But you know, salute to you. I'm doing some work on my channel. I'm over in the travel sector trying to get these goofies on the right track. They don't want to listen.
They don't want to listen.
They don't want to listen. I'm telling you, you can travel like this. You can do it like this, but you have to put your head down and work. But they don't want to listen. They want to do the fast track. They want things the easy way and whatever. But you know, still trying to work on these young guys.
The hard thing is, you know, youth is wasted on the young, as you know. They don't want to listen to you. You know, you're telling them the game plan, but they want to learn on their own.
Yeah. And it's going to be hard for them.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for them. But, you know, I just wanted to come up, show you the hat, say salute to you. I had a stream a couple weeks ago. It was titled All Men Pay. And game is for broke ninjas.
There you go. Facts.
That's what it is.
It is what it is.
But
shout out to Big Gangs, man. Appreciate you for
I just wanted to come up, say salute to you. The Gangster Lifestyle, I got that from the Free Agent Lifestyle.
Okay, cool, man. Thank you, man. And your channel again, let them know where it is. The Gangster Lifestyle.
The Gangster Lifestyle.
Big Gangs.
I'll see if I could drop the link in the chat.
You might not be able to because this YouTube blocks that. So we'll look you up. Big Gangs on YouTube.
Yep. All right.
Shout out to you, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I got my massage therapist coming in. All right. Another one, just to finish the point. When you have access to be able to hire massage therapists, personal trainers, women that do these jobs, maids, cooks, meal prep, you will less likely want to find that in a woman. All right. What guys will do is when they want to hire a woman to serve all of these things, right? I want her to massage me at night, and I wanted to, cook my meals, and I wanted her to clean my clothes. I could hire somebody for that. Once I started hiring women for those things, I'm less likely to look for that in other women that I date. So that when I date or mate or JUCO, I don't have to give them that duty. So I'm not even looking for that. Even if they wanted to say, I'll do it for you, I'm looking at it like, why? It's cheaper for me to hire the women to do it. It's cheaper. Because otherwise, if I get the girl to do it, she's like, well, you got to put me up and you got to provide this and you got to do that. And so I would rather hire a massage therapist as opposed to waiting for this woman to massage. Let me massage your back. No, fuck that. I'll hire a massage therapist for that. Let me cook and clean. A woman stayed over the other night. She was like, what are you going to eat for breakfast? I have a meal prep. I'll just eat that. As opposed to saying, why don't you get up and make me breakfast? I don't have to look in for that. So the woman has to come in completely a benefit to me. And it can't be the old, I'll massage you here and there. And if you massage me back, I'll do this. If you do this back, then eventually she won't do it. She won't do it with care. She'll do it sloppily. Whereas when Rosalinda comes in here and makes my bed, that sheet is tighter than a motherfucker. When she comes in there and she folds my clothes, they put them away and fold them just the way I asked her to do it. And I don't, otherwise she's fired. As opposed to when the girlfriend does it, but I did my best and I had to go to work and I did this and I couldn't get to it. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm saying where you start paying, it's going to open up a whole different mindset. You don't have to, though, because dudes have a hang up about this. I get it. But when I pay people to wash my cars, I have several cars. I have like 4 cars and a couple motorcycles. I pay guys to come wash my cars. All right. And they wash them right in my damn parking, right in my damn garage area. All of them. For me to take each individual car to a car wash would take all fucking day. It would take 20 minutes to get to the car wash. All right. An hour, 45 minutes for them to fix the car. Drive back 20 minutes. Fuck. Then I have to take car number 2, car number 3. These Mexicans will wash all the cars for $120. All right. Again, that opened up time, opportunity. Some people don't want to pay. They want to do it the hard way. Well, I ain't got the extra money. Go get the extra money. Otherwise, you're going to be out here struggling and floundering. Pay the money. And dude, and by the time I get done with my stream, they barely done with the cars. They done with one of the cars or two. But for me to take 4 cars to the car wash or go, I'm going to take this one on Monday, this one on Wednesday, this one on Friday. Man, just get your bag up. Nipsey said, get your bag up and see your life start changing. Most of your problems with women is because you niggas are broke. Game is for broke niggas. You niggas are broke and you're trying to barter time in exchange for money. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to cheat the system by not leveling up. All right. Joshua Moon says 32-year-olds always want a relationship. Always. He says, my baby mama said she will drop all my false charges in exchange for my help. Next move. Nope. All right. That's a trap. That's a trap. That's a trap. All right. By the way, you always pay, whether with time or money. And if you think your time is not valuable, just ask yourself, how much do you get? How much do you charge charge employers for your work per hour? All right. You got $40 an hour, $15 an hour, $30 an hour, whatever you make hourly. Okay. How many hours do you give to your girlfriend? 5 per day. 5, 6. How many hours do you give chasing women and trying to get them on your program? Add that up. You make $40 an hour at work, $100 an hour, $80 an hour, $1,000 an hour. Add it up. How much do you give to your wife? You're home at 5:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. Add it up and see that's not a cost. And apply that opportunity cost to something else. It costs. There's a cost. You could have been doing something else. And now she halfway doing what you want her to do. There's a cost. You might get some pussy from her. That's a cost. It's all a cost. Depends on how you want to pay. You don't have to believe me. Shout out to the coach gang. I got to get my massage on. My massage therapist is almost here. And we out of here. Peace.